Word. Okay. So I sometimes think a lot, sit there, pray and stuff. Today, that's what I was doing, and this came to my mind, and I always thought about sharing these kind of things, but here goes. Put it on a cloud, write it, paint it, scream it out loud. Look who you are today. You'll see the song's meaning in a whole new way. Listen to the voice inside. Let it be your guide, but do not abide in sin. Satan wins when you sacrifice what is within. Do you understand? I can't concentrate or contemplate on the things that bring me down or I'll drown. Not saying you're poisonous or that you're poison, but if I begin to let you in, then I'll slowly lose the spirit within, and I cannot have that. No, I will not have that. This of which we speak for the meek is for the meek, the life that lives to change and be changed, to teach and be taught, to give and get, but not sell and bought. I ought to stop you, but I choose not to, because you're free to do as you self-destructively please. And if I'm too radical or fanatical, just remember that he died for you, as I would too on my best days, but on my worst, I'd be the one holding the gun. You'd start to run and I'd drop it and cry, wondering why I had gotten to such a place of despair and hardship that in my pride I asked not for help, but took it on myself to rob you. I become Satan. That's what he does. And if you don't believe we're in spiritual warfare, well, you better watch out. We're in a spiritual drought, and there's plenty of doubt going through your mind as you sit there listening to me rant. Or is it ranting? I cannot tell. It's barely a yell, but it's passionate, heated, humility depleted, because I'm acting like I have all the answers, but I do not. Just an anger or a fear, and they both feed each other. Yet God says, if he is to be believed, to fear nothing except for him, because he's the only one allowed or capable of taking life with his own hands and his own terms. We don't want to believe that, so we choose to fear else. But how often do we get to love and accept the love of the hand that created and made and feeds and can kill you? Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe kill's not the word, but it's definitely what we deserve for having the nerve to serve only ourselves and thinking that we can become the great I am, when all we can claim is the one perfect fact that I am not perfect. If truth exists, and I deeply wish to insist that it does, then we ought to search, because it's the raw truth of reality that sets us free. And let me point out that reality is about suffering, anguish, pain, heartache, hardships, crisscross, and double-crossing, sword fights, fist fights, broken dreams, shattered lives, cancer, drugs, and crippling paranoia. And let me point out that reality is about love, laughter, hopes, privilege, sunshine, newborns, new life, old life, family, friends, smiles, heartache, suffering, healing, caring, sacrificing, and miracles. Yes, miracles. Here's my pet peeve that you will not believe me when I say the word miracles. You empiricals in your editorials proclaim it's a shame to claim their existence and our insistence that they happen day to day. Well, I'm here to say it's okay to feel this way or to think that way. In fact, it makes sense as part of my world, then not. I'm speaking of coincidences, incidences that cannot be explained except by a shake of the head or a denial in the heart of a reality that's more confusing and bruising and accusing than the one we care to admit to. But what's the point of sitting here ranting, panting, trying to figure out the right words to say that will sway your mind my way? Because today is about living and giving and showing the message, the gospel, the news, the idea that we have nothing to lose anymore, because he died for the poor, for the rich. He died for the sick and for the healthy. He died for everyone, and he was the only son, and he has won the battle over death. But we regret, forget, deny, lie, sigh, and try to find holes in the arguments presented by would-be friends. We're self-made enemies, more like frenemies, because we claim to be working in harmony peacefully, when really we all need to speak candidly to each other's lives and ask what we believe, why we believe the things we do, and see that we settle on the same equation: us plus them equals brothers and sisters and elders and children, all striving to survive and figure out what it's all about. And still we shout about the differences instead of worrying about the sicknesses and hoarding all our richnesses and burying all the witnesses to the better life that is offered by humility in a simple way. So I challenge you to think through your next statement's placement on the comments, not beratement or appeasement, but contemplation and relationship building. That's because it's the one thing connecting you and me and he and she, and we all together make community of seekers for truth and for living out a way that we can try to say is the closest thing we will have to finding heaven on earth. But let me be real. We live in the same world, all of us, and without God's presence, it's empty and cold and heartless and hopeless and meaningless. But with God's hand, we can command a respect of each other that is brother to brother and father to mother, father and mother, and no such thing as the other. So let us investigate the claims of the mind with open-minded honesty, because I want to see if I can really be as the Bible claims, or if it's religion's to blame for the bigotry and zealotry and hypocrisy that we all see in the world today. Strong words for a weak man. With that, I leave you. God's peace keep you and preserve you. In Jesus' name, amen.